Okay, 1845, good luck. 5,000 games of rapid, specialising in rapid chess. I'm just coming up towards 100 games. And we've not played before, there's no head-to-head score there. I just play a normal Caro here. Okay, develop the bishop and try and play e6. Okay, go c3. So I think e6 is fine here. c5 is probably the right move. Yeah, I'm going to play c5, develop the knight. Trade the bishop if the bishop comes up. Goes for the check. I assume I just block with the knight there. Rook can come across, queen can come up. Obviously the queen can come down. So I don't want to trade the bishop for that knight. I don't think so, but I could be giving up a pawn here. I could come across, but I think queen up is the right move initially, I think. Not go in front and block though. So let's play up now. Does he want to take and try and force an endgame? I think I'd be happy to trade with the queen and go into an endgame, but we'll just see. He might just castle here then. What am I going to do with my bishop and my knight? How do I develop? Now, pawn up here isn't really a threat right now because my rook's not protected. Of course, if I move across takes, I could take with the pawn and laterally guard here. Get the cursor off the board so we don't have any accidental slips. Okay, develops the bishop. So I don't want to take the pawn, because then it just allows the knight to jump across. I could just sack that pawn, I guess. Knight here takes, knight across. Then you've got this coming. Rook across. If I take, knight comes over, I think. Take, knight over, and obviously I can't do a great deal. I could do this, but obviously I'd need to trade my bishop first. So I'm looking at knight up. I could play bishop in actually and hit the knight. That's here. Knight across and then trade. I could even push the pawn up as well. Do I want to do that and bog it down? It looks sensible actually, but I'm going to do that just so he doesn't have the option to take there. Again, if he takes, I'll probably just take with the queen. I'm happy to play an endgame. Those who will just consider it. But I need to get my knight and my bishop into play and get castled. So I could do this, but then there's a risk that my bishop might get trapped. I say unless I obviously trade it off. Mind you, if he doesn't castle here, I've got bishop forward. Just makes it a little bit awkward. Even just for a move or two. And he hasn't castled, so I've got bishop here now. And he might have to waste a couple of moves, something like this. I like the look of that move. Has he got any sack there? If he takes, my bishop would cover anywhere. I like the look of that. Just to simply restrict the castling. Knight here, g6, bishop up. And try and castle myself. Once my king's out the way, I can start attacking this bishop. I could move the rook, I guess, and then push forward. You can get the cursor off the board, just so there's no accidental mouse slips. So he's come forward to challenge the pawn, that's logical. Yeah, that might be a good move, actually, that. I might have to find a bailout move here. That's a good move. Because I can't take without hanging my bishop, but rook across, take, 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 something takes. I'm losing a pawn at least. I'm just looking at rook across. Yeah, queen up blunders the queen. So that's no good. I think I'm going to play rook across here. I'll just accept I'm losing a pawn. It could be quite bad, this, actually. I might have gone quite wrong there with that move. Well, see, I've got this to try and simplify, but he's certainly winning a pawn at least, but he might be crashing through. If takes, I'm probably going to take with the bishop. Or I can just ignore it, can I, and just push here. But he's going to take here anyhow, isn't he? Yeah, this is actually a bit of a problem. I'm going to go here, but if takes, I'm going to go with the pawn, I think. I'm definitely going to be at least a pawn down. If he takes, I could go with the queen. Simplifying to an endgame a pawn down is probably fine, but if I take with the pawn, if you take, I take back. Actually, no, if I take with a pawn, you take. I have to take with this pawn. That's no good, is it? So I'm going with the queen. Now I can take back. Yeah, he's pushed, but now I can try and get active development. So how do we do it? I'm going to go here and hit this bishop. I've got to try and stay up a little bit on the clock. I could have tried to come across, I guess, but I've got to get developed and get castled. That's the priority here. Okay, he attacks the bishops. Where do I want my bishop to go? Here is more likely to get trapped, so I'm just looking at this. I think I'll go here. I'm just going to develop and castle, then I'll worry about challenging for the file. The game might be easier for my opponent to play now, so I might not be able to stay up so much on the clock. Yeah, attacks the bishop and the pawn. Good move, good move. I have to drop back, I think. If I do, he just does this. Boy, I've messed this one up, haven't I? I've really messed this one up, actually. He's going to get this at least. And I can't actually stop it, so I won't worry about it. I'll just let him take. I've got to try and use the clock this game. Right, I've castled. But yeah, there's no point going here. My bishop's vulnerable now. Again, this bishop can't go anywhere, so I might as well go here. I've really misplayed this, like really misplayed it, haven't I? I'd like my knight to jump here, but I don't actually see how. Maybe shift this bishop. If he goes across, I might gamble and try and sack a pawn for activity, but I don't see how I actually really gain anything. That's what he's done. So here, if he takes, check, back, here, he can take another one. But his king's at least vulnerable then. Or I could just go here and trade a rook, but then he's just going to get his other rook in. So I'm going to go for the gamble. I'm going to go for the riskier gamble line. But I might just lose both of these pawns, but at least I'll try and get the rooks active, hopefully. Win or bust. But I'd rather play for a game to try and win it and lose than just play for a draw. And obviously you could still lose anywhere. But we need to shift this bishop somewhere. We need the knight to then zigzag into the middle if we can. So the bishop's probably coming back. Yeah, he's headed that off. So I've still got the option to go here. I can't really do this now. I could take there, but I don't want to. So I'm going to have to challenge this rook. Okay, he's gone across. So I'll challenge the rook again. My knight does guard the bishop at least for one move. Obviously I can't protect both of my pawns, so that's a bit of a problem. It's a very big problem. Maybe I've got bishop d8 and knight to e7 and then push the a pawn to a dark square. Oh, he's disconnected and reconnected there. Okay, let's hope that's okay. Okay. I'm looking at this. I could go here, but then I don't get the option to ever go here. Obviously f8 is the more natural square. I just favour going here with an idea I can come forward or push the pawn. The knight can drop back and try and route into the middle. Yeah, I hope this is okay here. Again, just see what my opponent does. Oh, he's attacked the knight now. Now, I don't want to go there and trade. I say I'm trying to just pop into the middle. I'm not actually threatening anything as such. It just feels like a much more natural square. It's only the knight that really can attack it unless he sacks an exchange. In the middle here, it'll help to restrict the rook as well. Oh, he's going for the trade. Okay. So knight up. Yeah. I'd rather trade the bishop. My knight feels like it's in a more dangerous position now. Now he's pushed this pawn. There's now going to be a nice square here. But I might not be able to protect these pawns though, so that's a problem. And he's going to get the open file, so he should be winning this with, you know, remotely decent play. How on earth do I defend this? I'm not sure I can. He's keeping it on the board, but now can't I just run up here? Again, if I could get a knight here, that could be good if I can stop this. Do I go here? That just encourages this. I don't want that, but my knight's got an outpost now, but what do you gain? Maybe here. Do I do a move like this to charge the center? But that lets his knight in. I'm just going to run the pawn. I'm going to try and play the clock. I'm going to try and keep him a little bit low on time. So he's hit the pawn. Okay. I guess I'll just drop the rook back for now and then kick the knight. I'm going to try and get that pawn as far up the board as I can. So kick that knight. Now, is there anything spectacular? He's got a nice square here. I need my knight active, don't I? Do I go here? Here's no good. Here. What am I achieving? Not a lot. I'm completely bogged down, aren't I? I mean, can I risk this? I'm going to risk f5, I think. If he takes, I'll take with a knight. I'm going to try and open things up and attack. Obviously, if he takes with a pawn, I'm going with the rook and just target this pawn. But if he gets doubled up on this rank, then obviously that's curtains, but let's just see. But I do have rook f7, I think, if he moves the rook across, for example. Again, get the cursor off the board. He has taken. So we take. So we might even double up here now. But I've still got rook back if he plays a move like a cross. Yeah, that knight's in a very, very good place. Like here, I'm not threatening the pawn. Double up. I could give up an exchange potentially, but these will collapse very quickly, as long as he can play quickly enough. Okay, he's gone for the check. So I think I should probably drop back here. But I could take, he takes, and I go up. But my rook's not doing anything, is it? So I'm going to drop back. Right, now have I got rook here? Do I need rook there? I'm going to push that pawn up like I said. The knight covers the dark squares, so he's come in, but where is he going? Now maybe I've got rook across to actually hit the pawn. So I'm going to risk it. He might have to just go back. But I think I'm going to sack this outer pawn. Give him a chance to get the outside pawn to look for some counterplay. But yeah, my knight covers these squares for him. His rook attacking the pawns, at least in one move. He could go around the angles, I guess, but he's getting low on time, so I've got to try and use this bit of extra time I've got. But we just got 30 seconds to try and survive. Okay, he's got to move soon or he'll just get too low on time. He has indeed gone back. So now the problem is if I go here, there's no obvious breakthrough move. I need a lot of moves to get through, but I have actually got this, haven't I, to actually hit the knight. What's wrong with that? If he goes here, I just take the pawn. The king can't come up. If he wastes the move going back, I just collect the knight. Knight check I can just take. So I think he's just too low on time now. So king's gone across, so that's the knight. Just time pressure, just pure time pressure. So we get a little bit lucky with that one.